Good morning, everyone. Let me welcome all of you to the Orange County Board of County Commission meeting of September the 10th, 2024. As we begin this morning, we're going to ask Commissioner Wilson to introduce her guests who will be bringing the invocation. After the invocation, we'll ask Commissioner Wilson if she would lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. And after the pledge, our Communications Director, Dr. Jeffrey Williamson, will introduce and recognition for Corrections Officer Timothy Williams, and then read several proclamations, one recognizing Hunger Action Month and Hispanic Heritage Month. With that, Commissioner Wilson, you're recognized at this time.
Thank you, Mayor, and good morning, everybody. I can't tell you how wonderful it is to walk into the celebration that we have this morning, and it's just so symbolic of, I think, the beauty and diversity that we have here in Orange County. Along those lines, I'm just thrilled this morning to introduce the Reverend Dr. Jennifer Stiles Williams. She is the lead pastor at St. Luke's United Methodist Church on Apopka Island in beautiful Dr. Phillips. Known as Pastor Jen, she's the lead pastor, and in January of 2007, she was appointed to St. Luke's and most recently served as a co-lead pastor. Before that, she was the executive pastor overseeing all the Connect, Grow, and Worship ministries, which include youth, children, young adult, and adult ministries. And anybody that knows about St. Luke's knows there's always children's laughter in the hallways over there. And it was also over the School of Arts. She is a Florida native and raised in the United Methodist Church. Jen received a major in sociology and a minor in psychology at Wesleyan College, a United Methodist Women's College in Macon, Georgia, and we just found out we were in Macon at the same time, and attended Candler School of Theology at Emory University for her master's in divinity. She began working at the United Methodist Church as a youth director in her senior year of high school and has worked with the youth and children in the ministry in both Georgia and Florida. She served as pastor in charge and associate pastor of several United Methodist churches in Florida, and her spiritual gifts include leadership, teaching, evangelism, and her passion in helping make sure the church works. Jen is married to John Stiles Williams, who works at Orange County Public Schools as administrator, and they have 3 children, Grace, Caroline, and Sam. And as a family, they love spending time at Disney. They love the dogs, go dogs, and anything to do with the water. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce Pastor Jen.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Mayor and Commissioners, and all of you who live and work in Orange County. I want to just say a few words, first of all. There is a song that is true to my faith tradition, but I think many of us can say it in our faith traditions, as varied as they are. Great is thy faithfulness, O God, my Father. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. Thou changes not, thy compassions, they fail not. As thou hast been, thou forever will be. Will you turn to someone and say, morning by morning? Turn to someone and say, morning by morning. And now be with all the usher and say, new mercies I have seen. That's right. The faithfulness that you have seen this morning is that the sun came up and you didn't have to do anything to make it happen, right? The faithfulness you have already seen this morning is that the minute you sat up from wherever you slumber, your lungs filled with air in a deep way that you didn't have to schedule. Amen? Amen. Right? The mercy you have seen this morning already is that you are here, that you got here, that you are safe, and that you are surrounded by people who live next to you and who love Orange County. Amen? Some of us know a faithfulness that the bed we got out of will be the bed we return to. And some of us know the faithfulness that at some point today you, after you've done your work, hopefully maybe by 5 o'clock, you'll go sit and have a meal. But not everyone experiences that faithfulness. Not because they are not loved, but because systems are working against them. And so may I remind us all that the work we do to give thanks to that faithfulness of whoever it is we serve is to be faithful in response. Faithful in response to the calling that we have been given to use our gifts, our resources, and all that we are not just for ourselves, but to make this place a better place for everyone who is loved by their faithful Creator, which is basically everyone, by the way. So with that, I invite our hearts this morning to be full of compassion and faithfulness to our callings. Faithfulness to the mission that we have to be honorable and care for one another and value one another as we, as the people of Orange County, and you as commissioners, cooperate, collaborate, and care for each other in this space and for the people who are not here. I invite us to be faithful to the mission of our county, which is to serve its citizens with integrity and honesty, fairness, and professionalism. But I would add compassion, grace, equity, justice, and love. I would invite that all of us be faithful to the commitment we have to engage our citizens in decision-making processes that are fair, that both earn their trust and improve their lives. I would ask us to be faithful to find new ways to innovate and serve and set the pace for other counties in this state that I love, that I'm a fifth-generation Floridian in, and that we would set the pace to show that the power of our community is in our diversity of people, of language, of culture, of religion, of orientation, of race, of ethnicity, and of thought. Because when we value each other's diversity of thought, we do better things for our Creator. And I know that words right now like faithfulness, compassion, and mercy don't necessarily describe the culture of our political divides in this season, right? But may you know that the work you do matters. Commissioners and mayor, the work you do over budgets and logistics and hearings and policies and procedures have faces that are valuable and beautiful to us as a county, to the city, to the state, and most of all to God. So may you know that you're not doing it alone, that we pray for you, that we work beside you to fill in the gaps, and that most of all, we do it because someone has already been faithful to us just this morning. Will you pray with me? Holy, faithful Creator, God of love and light, Yahweh, whatever name we call you, that which is greater than all of us, may your spirit of kindness and goodness and faithfulness fall on us again this day. May it fall on the work of this chamber so that the work is good and faithful and compassionate and creates new mercies so all may see your faithfulness through the work that comes through here, so that our county may be a beacon of light of what it is to live in cooperation and collaboration and what it means to honor every citizen. We ask this in whatever name that we pray to. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I know, mine's sitting here and I have. But that's just the three of us. I'm talking. What about you? It's coming along. Yesterday I had no shoes on, but that was hurting my side. Put the boot back on. She's yeah, she's done it. Oh, is that?
All right, thank you, Pastor Jen. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Commissioner. As the Mayor said, we have two proclamations this morning. However, Before we read these two proclamations, I'm going to call on Danny Banks, Orange County's Public Safety Director, to bring us details of a very special recognition of one of our very own. Director Banks.
Thank you, Dr. Williamson. Good morning, Mayor, Commissioners. Good morning to you all. It's an honor for Chief Quinones and I to be here today as we recognize Corrections Officer Timothy Williams for his heroic actions. Yesterday, the Florida Department of Law Enforcement awarded Officer Williams with the 2023-2024 Citizen of the Year. I want to share the details that led to this commendation as well as today's special recognition. In August of 2023, Officer Williams found himself at a bus stop in his role as a parent when he witnessed a middle-aged man attempting to abduct an 11-year-old girl. Without hesitation, he intervened, stopping the would-be abductor and holding the suspect until law enforcement arrived. His quick and courageous actions ended a heinous crime in progress and prevented a young girl from being kidnapped. This incident occurred in Polk County, Florida, and the suspect was charged with attempted kidnapping, lewd molestation, and resisting arrest. Officer Williams' actions were brave and courageous, and we'd like to publicly recognize him for his service to others. It's now my pleasure to introduce Mayor Demings for his special recognition.
All right, good morning. Thank you, Director Banks, and good morning to the Williams family who are joining Correctional Officer Timothy Williams today. I'm honored to present this award after having spent especially nearly 38 years in law enforcement. During that period of time, I had the opportunity to serve as the interim jail director for about 7 months, and then, of course, as a former sheriff and police chief. I do know what it means to sometimes put your life at risk for the lives of others, and that is what Correctional Officer Timothy Williams has done. So we're going to present him with a special award today. I'll read what the award says. It says, in recognition of your heroic actions to intervene in an attempted child kidnapping in Central Florida, I commend your courageous efforts and quick response in preventing a serious crime. Thank you. On behalf of the 1.5 million people who call Orange County home, and for those whose life you saved, thank you for your unwavering dedication to public safety. Awarded this 10th day of September 2024 in Orange County, Florida. Put them on the spot.
I didn't come over. Oh, I guess it doesn't matter.
I would like to thank the mayor and the commissioners for this lovely award. I would like to dedicate the award to all my coworkers at Orange County who brought me to this point, the chief, all of them. You know, we are the unknown heroes behind the wall, that we are in your communities every day, and I do want to dedicate the award to all of them. I would like to thank y'all. I ain't had nothing written, it's off my brain, but thank y'all for this award.
Thank you very much, Mayor. Congratulations. Officer Williams. We do have two proclamations. The first proclamation that we have today is for Hunger Action Month. Hunger Action Month. And the proclamation reads, whereas hunger and poverty are issues of vital concern in Florida, with 13.2% of people experiencing food insecurity and uncertainty about their next meal. And whereas Orange County is committed to working with Second Harvest Food Bank of Central Florida, a member of the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks, to educate people about the critical role of food banks in addressing hunger. And whereas the tireless efforts of Second Harvest Food Bank of Central Florida and their 317 partner agencies have resulted in the distribution of an astounding 36.8 million meals to individuals in Orange County just last year in 2023. And whereas Second Harvest Food Bank of Central Florida distributes 300,000 meals every day throughout its 7-county service area in Central Florida through its network of food pantries, soup kitchens, shelters, and other community organizations. And whereas September is designated as Hunger Action Month to raise awareness about food insecurity in our communities, we encourage the public to take action to end hunger and ensure that every community and every individual has access to the food they need to thrive. And whereas food banks across the country, including Second Harvest Food Bank of Central Florida and its partner agency network, will host numerous events throughout the month of September to raise awareness and help to end hunger in their communities. Now, therefore, Jerry L. Demings, by virtue of the authority vested in him as Orange County Mayor, does hereby proclaim September 2024 as Hunger Action Month in Orange County, Florida, and encourage all residents to work together and put an end to hunger. Done and ordered this 10th day of September, 2024, signed by the mayor and all 6 members of the Board of County Commissioners. Receiving the proclamation is Stephanie Palacio, Director of Advocacy and Government Relations for Second Harvest Food Bank. Ms. Palacio.
Good morning, Commissioners and Mayor Demings. I want to thank each and every one of you for your assistance in fighting hunger in Central Florida. I'm not sure if everybody in this room is aware of the time and the advocacy that the Orange County Commission invests in ending hunger in Central Florida. This is a particularly special day because today is actually Hunger Action Day, so Hunger Action Month, Hunger Action Day. We cannot do the work that we do without the support of the Orange County Commission, the mayor, and Orange County staff. We also cannot do the work that we do without our partner agencies here in Central Florida. You all are familiar with our partner agencies. They're on the ground every day serving our community with dignity, and not only serving them with food, but serving them with other services, those wraparound services that are so important, because we know that hunger is just a symptom of other problems in the community. So we could not distribute that 36.8 million meals in Orange County last year without your support. Thank you. And if you're interested in getting involved in fighting hunger in Central Florida, please visit feedhopenow.org/HAM for Hunger Action Month. And there's some actions that you can take to get involved. Thank you all so much.
All right, thank you, Ms. Palacio and Second Harvest Food Bank, for all the great work you do in Orange County and throughout the community. Our second and final proclamation, and it's difficult to talk about food insecurity with so much food in our lobby this morning from the Hispanic Heritage Network. It is still wafting here in this room, but it is Hispanic Heritage Month, and we thank you so much for the meal you provided this morning. This proclamation reads, whereas on September 17, 1968, the first Hispanic Heritage Week was observed by President Lyndon B. Johnson and later expanded by President Ronald Reagan to include the period from September 15th through October 15th. And whereas across the United States, Hispanic Heritage Month is recognized as an opportunity to celebrate the contributions of Americans whose heritage is rooted in the countries of Latin America and the Iberian Peninsula. And whereas 62.5 million people of Hispanic or Latino origin in the United States make up more than half of the total population growth between 2010 and 2020. And whereas the 2024 theme, Pioneers of Change, Shaping the Future Together, encapsulates the vibrant Hispanic community as an integral part of the rich cultural tapestry of Orange County, contributing significantly to the economic, social, and artistic life of our region. And whereas the 25th anniversary of the Hispanic Heritage Network of Orange County represents a significant opportunity to celebrate its achievements and recommit to its mission of fostering cultural understanding, promoting professional development, and advocating for the well-being of Hispanic residents in Orange County. Now, therefore, Jerry L. Demings, by virtue of the authority vested in him as Orange County Mayor, does hereby proclaim September 15th through October 15th, 2024 as Hispanic Heritage Month in Orange County, Florida, and encourage all residents to share in the upcoming cultural events and celebrations. Done and ordered this 10th day of September, 2024, signed by the mayor and all 6 members of the Board of County Commissioners. Receiving the proclamation is Yachini Negron, President of the Hispanic Heritage Network of Orange County. Ms. Negron.
Thank you, Jeff, for reading the proclamation. Muy buenos días a todos. Good morning to everyone. I hope you're having a good day. Good morning, Mayor, all of our commissioners, Mr. Byron Brooks, and everyone here today. We are celebrating the proclamation of Hispanic Heritage Month and the 25th anniversary of the Hispanic Heritage Network. That's an immense trajectory. Let's give a round of applause for that. As Jeff mentioned, the theme this year is Pioneers of Change, Shaping the Future Together. And this network was founded by Orange County employees who are recognized today as Pioneros de Cambio. They understood upon the foundation of this nonprofit that creating space and representation of Hispanics within local government meant that not only we get to thrive as a community, but we also get to influence the political process of policy implementation as public servants and elected officials. Our county employees, community members, and artists are visionaries and resilient to the ever-changing landscape of our community. One thing that we have in common as Latinos, not only is our cultural background, but it's also the desire to achieve excellence. And today, that is our living testimony as we stand united in celebration of this milestone and in honoring 8 young people with the Hispanic Youth Leadership Awards. We thank our leadership in Orange County, the Hispanic Heritage Network board members who are here with us today, our community partners for recognizing the importance to create an empowering environment for our community. I'm thankful to our corporate partners like Duke Energy, Caroline Marte, and Lisa Curan, who have championed our cause for the 2nd consecutive year as our title sponsor. Gracias to Corwin's Catering, a local enterprise, for being our breakfast sponsor and for cooking a delicious Latin flair cuisine that is now being served in the atrium. Before you, there are pastry baskets, commissioners. Yes, sponsored by Juan Angulo from our Colombian bakery, and we hope that you enjoy those delicious delicacies. And to our community who are watching and everyone who is here with us today, we have officially launched our Hispanic Heritage Month Art and Dress exhibit here at the Orange County Administration Center, and we've also partnered with the Greater Orlando Aviation Authority to exhibit our art in the MCO Gallery located at the Orlando International Airport. Please don't miss this exhibit. It's going to be live until October 24th, and our artists are here with us today as well. And thank you to Cabecal, Raimi Dance, JJ Arts, Patricia Cebazos, and our Vice President, Natalie Colon, for all of the hard work in coordinating the exhibit this year. We hope that you can all join us at our upcoming 25th anniversary celebration. It's going to be on October 9th at our beautiful facility at the Orange County Multicultural Center. And please follow us on social media for more information. And now I'm going to yield the floor to our title sponsor, a representative from Duke Energy, Lisa Curan. Thank you.
Buenos dias, Mayor, Commissioners, County Administrator, Mr. Brooks, and Comptroller. It's a pleasure to be here today, and I am Lisa Coran. I don't know if I can say it just the way she said it, but I'm excited about my new last name regardless. On behalf of Duke Energy, I'm representing Government and Community Affairs for Orange and Osceola counties, and it's our privilege to sponsor the Pioneers of Change series of events that are happening on behalf of the Hispanic Heritage Network of Orange County, and also this amazing milestone of 25 years of service to the communities right here in Orange County. At Duke Energy, we too are celebrating an important milestone. We officially began powering the lives of Florida residents and customers in 1899, marking 125 years. And every single day since, our 4,000 employees across the state of Florida wake up every day to provide an essential service to power the lives of our customers and advance the communities that we serve. It's a commitment that we don't take lightly, and it makes up the very foundation of our company. Our purpose hasn't changed, but our communities, our environment, and industry continues to evolve. We know we're stronger if our priorities, plans, and workforce reflect the communities we serve. And we can't do that, and we're so grateful for the ongoing support of the leaders like you in this room. Our collaboration with organizations like the Hispanic Heritage Network of Orange County has allowed us to provide scholarship to Hispanic students, to see the youth energy in this room, to provide critical life skills to reach their full potential, and overall contribute to a vibrant and diverse workforce right here in Orange County. And we realize there's so much more work to be done. We recognize we're stronger together, and the opportunities to partner are endless, and we know there's so many more on the horizon. Thank you for your dedication to allow us to be here and partner together, to uplift the Hispanic and Latino residents, visitors, and businesses, and we look forward to continuing to work together to build, nurture, empower the places we call home right here in Orange County. Thank you.
All right, and we are going to recognize some of these young people. The Hispanic Heritage Network of Orange County, in partnership with the Orange County government, continues to prioritize youth engagement. Since September 2019, the Hispanic Youth Leadership Award, or HYLA, has been recognizing outstanding young individuals in collaboration with Mayor Demings, the commissioners, and key community stakeholders. Over the past 6 years, 39 young people of Hispanic descent have been honored for their exceptional achievements in academia, sports, community service, and other areas. Today, we are proud to honor 8 more of these exemplary young people. So let me bring them up one by one. And commissioners, if you want to come on down to greet these wonderful young people who are receiving these honors, we certainly would appreciate that. Let's start with District 1. Representing District 1 is Maria Daniela La Cruz Segarra. Now here's on Maria. Despite the challenges of immigration, she has excelled academically, maintaining a 4.4 weighted GPA and straight A's. Selected for the Orange County Public Schools Aspire to Excellent program, Maria ranks in the top 15% of her class. Congratulations to Maria. Excellent. For District 2, Diane Hodgson, a passionate science enthusiast from Nicaragua, that's where my wife is from, is an active community advocate at Hope Community Center, serving as a mentor, accumulating 227 volunteer hours while supporting her peers and the program. Congratulations to Diane. District 3, recognizing District 3, is Yacidi Vasquez, a first-generation American with Mexican heritage, maintaining a 3.9 GPA at Oak Ridge High School while actively participating in the National Honor Society, Hispanic Honor Society, and Oak Ridge Friends. She has finished Cambridge classes and completed a 3-year internship with additional financial. Congratulations, Yacidi. Oh, she was not able to make it this morning, unfortunately. We'll make sure she gets her recognition. Representing District 4 is Karina Nicole Cuevas Gutierrez, a proud member of the Colombian and Puerto Rican communities with a 4.79 rated GPA, attends Lake Nona High School at just 17. She has excelled academically through advanced placement courses and college-level coursework at Valencia. Congratulations, Karina. District 5, representing District 5, Roy Alejandro Rodriguez Mendez, a Puerto Rican with a strong dedication to community service, has accumulated extensive volunteer hours. Roy has achieved notable success in volleyball, I believe that's correct. He aspires to play college volleyball and become a doctor of physiotherapy with a focus in sports medicine. Congratulations to you, Roy. Representing District 6, Marcos Marito Igaldo from Puerto Rico has excelled academically at kids' college primary and secondary schools despite being diagnosed with autism. Known for his outgoing nature, Marcos has been elected to the student government and is actively involved in community service. He regularly visits nursing homes to offer companionship and participates in charity events organized by the student government. Congratulations to Marcos. All right, Marcos. Representing the Hispanic Heritage Network of Orange County is Eric De La Rosa. Of Puerto Rican descent, he has demonstrated remarkable achievements and an unwavering commitment to personal excellence. As a junior at Boone High School, Eric is well respected for his exceptional academic performance and active community involvement. Congratulations to you, Eric. Last and certainly not least, representing the office of Mayor Jerry L. Demings is Cooper LaBelle, a 13-year-old with Colombian and French-Canadian heritage, excels academically and has a 4.0 GPA at Highlands Latin School and serves as a cadet in the Civil Air Patrol, U.S. Air Force Auxiliary. Cooper aspires to attend the U.S. Air Force Academy and become a fighter pilot. He sings opera with Opera Orlando Youth Company and has been recognized by the United States Army for his leadership and support. Congratulations to you, Cooper. Let's give all of our highly honorees a big round of applause. Thank you very much. It looks like we forgot to do a big check presentation in the proclamation. Now we're talking.
All right, again, congratulations to all of our youth award recipients today, as well as those in recognition. And we also thank Pastor Stiles Williams for her wonderful invocation today. If you are one of those who need to leave, we ask that this would be the perfect time, but we ask that you leave quietly if you can. As we move to the next item on our agenda, which is the public comment period of time. And as they're leaving, I'd like to invite comments from members of the public regarding topics of interest or concern that are within this board's authority. However, there are certain matters that are not appropriate for public discussion during this public comment period. These matters would include pending procurement or land use issues or concerns that should properly be brought to another board rather than this board. We will, of course, this afternoon solicit public input during our public hearing period of time centered around all of the various land use issues. With that, Mr. Thalmuller, do we have any members of the public present who have indicated a desire to speak this morning?
We do, Mayor. We have 8 speaker cards this morning.
Okay.
All right, folks, I'm going to call your name in batches. When I do, please line up along the back wall, approach the podium one by one in the order of your names called. When you do approach the podium, please start with your name and address for the record. First speaker registered today is Gloria Sepulveda, followed by Susan Anderson, Nelson Betancourt, and Carla Radka. Whenever you're ready, just start with your name and address.
My name is Gloria Sepulveda. My address is 7911 North Marbella Court, Orlando, Florida, 32836.
All right. Thank you. You're recognized.
Okay, well, good morning, everyone. Thank you, commissioners, for allowing me to speak today. Like I said, my name is Gloria, and I serve as the president of the board of directors for Ganado Villas, a community of 239 homes located directly across the street from Delagio Plaza, home to many restaurants and bars. First, I want to express my gratitude for the efforts in updating the noise ordinances that are coming in place soon. I understand it's been a long journey and your hard work has not gone unnoticed. However, I am here because the noise ordinances only do a small bit of that. I'm referring to the business model that is present in Miami, where restaurants open as eateries until 10 p.m., and then they operate and transition into nightclubs for adults only with DJs, bottle service, and performers until 2 a.m. in residential areas. where they clearly blur the line between eateries such as Fleming's or Dragonfly and into something like the H or My Lounge that is now thankfully closed. In general terms, Dr. Phillips is a place that is for families, and we welcome Restaurant Row, we welcome the growth, but we please implore upon you to look at zoning, permitting, so that these establishments do not interrupt our peace, our quiet, and our families until 2 o'clock in the morning from Thursday through Saturday night. Thank you.
All right, thank you for your comments. We do have an item later this morning in which we'll be talking about changes to our noise ordinance. Next speaker, please.
Susan?
Is Ms. Anderson present? Susan
Nope.
Anderson?
Nelson, you were next.
Nelson Betancourt, 5350 East Cayley Street, Orlando, Florida, 32812. Good morning, Mayor and Commissioners. Speaking a lot about food today, it's very interesting. I didn't know this was happening today. But I want to start by saying that food security is national security. Once again, food security is national security. Yet food security is one of the few national security issues in which each citizen can take measures to look out for oneself, one's family, and one's community. Sooner or later, governments will have to recognize that if the land does not prosper, nothing else can prosper for very long. We can have no industry or trade or wealth or security if we don't uphold the health of the land and the people who work it. We know that soil erosion, air and water pollution, urban sprawl, the proliferation of highways and garbage are making our lives always less pleasant, less healthful, less sustainable, and our dwelling places more ugly. The governmental obligation to protect these economic resources is the same as the obligation to protect us from hunger and from foreign invaders. The result, there is no difference between a domestic threat to the sources of our life and foreign invaders. There should be no compromise with the destruction of the land or of anything else that we cannot replace. So I hope that you keep this in mind. Food security is national security. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Mr. Betancourt. We'll move to the next speaker. I believe that's Ms. Ratka.
Good morning, Honorable Mayor Demings, Orange County Commissioners, and the public. My name is Carla Radka, and I am the President and CEO for Senior Resource Alliance. We are the area agency on aging in Central Florida, designated to distribute the funds that support programs against hunger like Meals on Wheels in Orange County. We're very fortunate to live in a county that has laws to protect seniors and to keep them living in communities. As we know, research shows that seniors living in communities do so much better than being institutionalized. This morning, I am here to recognize and be thankful and show gratitude for the funding being directed to ministries like SALT that protects homeless individuals in our community. This is important for advocates and individuals that work on this sector because the fastest growing group of homelessness in Central Florida and also in the United States are seniors, and more than anything, women. Women, seniors, elder women, grandmas in our community that are facing homelessness. Many of them not because of addictions of domestic violence, many of them because of affordable housing. So Senior Resource Alliance is looking into a next project to be able to fight and to put resources and create an impact in that space by creating affordable housing for seniors in our community, for seniors in Orange County. So there is more to know about that, but these are cross-sector partnerships that include all of us to be able to uplift and secure housing and then provide that service that is so much tied up to social justice and to the quality of life and living with dignity for our seniors, for our homeless neighbors, brothers and sisters in our community, and more than anything, for those elder women that are grandmothers and that are part of our community. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Radka. Next speaker, please.
All right, folks, next set of speakers is going to start with Trini Quiroz, followed by Tim McKinney, Cara Blanco, Rosemary Hayes, and Sarah El-Badri.
Good morning. Trini Quiroz, 2000 Hillcrest, Orlando. For the last 30 years, I've been witnessing exactly what goes on in this county and very little change except for the ones that have and for the outsiders. Time after time, I'm here advocating for the homeless, for the ones that nobody really cares. And it goes in one ear and it goes in the other. I was so pleased when the preacher, female preacher, said what she said. I felt her words were from the heart. Just like mine, even though I had very little patience for nonsense. Some of you were elected by us. Some of you were elected, helped to be elected by me. 3 of you, including the mayor. When are we going to see a reasonable outreach to homeless? People that were here 20, 30 years ago, some of them, of which I know, are in the woods homeless because they could no longer pay mortgages, taxes, or even sustain themselves. When are we going to have a comprehensive plan for those who have not? Where is the human empathy? It's like a broken record. It's like Trini comes here all the time to say the same thing. Yes, I will. The Bible that was written more than 2,000 years ago says in one of those verses that when Jesus was looking at the poor, he was moved to compassion, for he saw them as sheep without shepherd. We elected you. Which one of you is a wolf? Which one of you is a shepherd? Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Quiroz. Next speaker, please.
Hello, Mayor, Commissioners, Comptroller. This is Tim McKinney at 18415 11th Avenue in Bithlo, and I am excited to be here today because there's so many things on this agenda that overlap with the Bithlo transformation effort now in our 16th year, funding for community health centers, funding for our partners with areas, and then I'm especially excited about item 13 on the consent agenda, which for the first time ever will add real infrastructure at Transformation Village, the downtown we've been developing for the last 15 years, to allow us to really draw in our unsheltered homeless into this space, allow us to build relationships through the showers, through the counseling, through the storage, through the mail, through all of the resources that you guys are funding today. And we're this close to having all that we need in East Orange County to accommodate shelter capacity, which we know is a critical need. We've recently opened our cooling center at our coffee shop and library, which has been a tremendous blessing to the community and another way to bring folks in. But why are all of these things important? It's not just about showers. It's just not about air conditioning. It's about getting our folks with substance use disorders and addiction issues the help that they need. And we have that now available for the first time in East Orange County at our newly opened medically assisted treatment center, which I'm seeing people that I never thought would get into care that are literally hours from death, getting treatment and getting the help that they need. But at the same time, 2 girls that I personally talked to last week are dead today. We've got to work faster. We've got to work harder. So all Delaney wanted was to get her addiction issues satisfied, to get homelessness taken care of so that she could be reunited with her daughter. Unfortunately, giving herself a shot of ice in the neck, she missed the vein. And despite the pleas of our peer support outreach workers, she died of an infection. And Mandy, who I talked to on Friday, all she wanted to do was come in on Tuesday and see me, and she died in the meantime. So I implore you, let's expand Transformation Village, let's do quality affordable housing in East Orange County, and let's get shelter capacity out east where it's so desperately needed. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. McKinney. Next speaker.
Cara Blanco, 6016 Montel Court. I live in the suburbs, 543 homes in 5 interconnected neighborhoods. If you look at a map, you'd see our homes are more tightly clustered together than the next neighborhood down the road, which is City of Orlando, which has a noise ordinance 10 times less. The borders between unincorporated and the 13 municipalities are fluid, and noise enforcement must be a nightmare. We've had deputies openly admit they couldn't hear well when they responded to our calls for service. There are numerous studies that estimate up to 34% of law enforcement suffer from noise-induced hearing loss due to chronic acoustic trauma from sirens, road noise, and discharging firearms. Yet these are the same people tasked with enforcing a 500-foot audible standard-based noise ordinance for residents in unincorporated Orange County. So this stack of paper is other Florida counties' noise ordinances. Brevard recently amended theirs to a distance of 300 feet, and you know they have a much less population density than Orange County. Seminole County amended theirs in 2020 and is decibel-based. Same for Osceola. Lake County is still trying to figure it out. Hillsborough County, which is more aligned to Orange County in terms of population density and land size, is decibel-based. Remember that freedom of speech is about content, it's not volume. And the current distance requirement is unacceptable when more children are being homeschooled, people are working from home, even the county's 311 operators, I think, are working from home. Orange County has a projected population of 2 million by 2050. Amending this noise ordinance may be one of your best legacies, because I'll definitely remember it. It's about ensuring a healthy quality of life for current and future Orange County residents. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Blanco, for your comments. Next speaker, please.
Hi, I'm Rosemary Hayes, and I decided to come here on Friday afternoon when I received one business day's notice that our case number RZ2406042 7100 Astro Street was removed from the consent agenda. And I'd just like to briefly share my experience with you. I've been a construction lawyer in Florida for over 36 years. I foyed into the zoning and planning based on my role currently as in-house counsel to a group of companies. And by May 10th, we had to submit our rezoning application for a non-conforming use on a 1 acre piece of property, a very minor request because of the Vision 2050. May 10th was the cutoff to submit it. We are in District 5. We had to have a public meeting, which we did on July 22nd. On August 15th, I came before the Planning and Zoning Board. I presented a detailed presentation with drone flying over the property showing the use was consistent with other uses in the area, and we specifically discussed the septic tank situation, because everyone who is familiar with anything environmental in Florida knows we have the scourge of the old septic tanks buried underground. So this property has 2 septic tanks that we discussed were going to be removed, replaced with fully compliant with EDP requirements, Department of Health, State of Florida requirements, really a benefit to remove these leaky septic tanks from the environment. So on Friday afternoon, my planner sent an email to me that said that the commissioner asked that this be taken from the consent agenda. It took me till yesterday afternoon to find out why. No due process, no notice, nothing to explain to me. I contacted the commissioner's office, I got voicemail, I emailed for a meeting, I entered the meeting calendar information in 3 different places. The next meeting was weeks down the road, as we've been waiting months to move forward with removing these leaky septic tanks. Finally, yesterday afternoon, a member of the staff texted me that the reason it was removed was because of EDP concerns.
All right, Ms. Hayes, I'm going to look to the county administrator. Do we have someone that could follow up with her?
Sure, Mayor, but the matter, Commissioner, it is a P&Z item. Commissioner Bonilla has pulled it for a public hearing, so that this matter will be coming to the board at a future date. But yes, did I see?
The point is that the
okay,
EDP...
you're out of time. Okay, so...
I was trying to think in the back, so I don't see who we have from PEDS, who's in the back. We'll have someone, yeah, they're out there. I know they're outside, so we'll have PEDs. There's John Weiss right over here, so he'll get the information. We'll get the appropriate person.
Okay,
the
thank
public
you.
speaker.
Okay,
I
all right.
appreciate
All right,
it.
thank you for your presence. We'll follow up with you on that. All right, next speaker, please.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Mayor, County Commissioners, Administrator Brooks, Comptroller Diamond, good to see you all today. My name is Sarah Albadri, 617 North Magnolia Avenue, Orlando, Florida, 32801. My name is Sarah Albadri. I serve as Deputy District Director for Congressman Maxwell Frost. I'm here to support the use of Orange County Federal American Rescue Plan dollars for the contract with SALT, outreach to provide mobile, comprehensive front doors for people experiencing homelessness, not only to meet basic needs, but also helping them to navigate ending homelessness. In Bithlo, SALT plans to ramp up to 5 days a week, providing the following services: showers with a shower trailer with ADA bathroom and wheelchair lift, laundry services, mail services, storage services, clothing and hygiene products, charging stations for devices, case management, and mental health counseling. We appreciate the county's efforts to meet folks where they're at and applaud Lisa Graham for her work as manager of the Mental Health and Homelessness Division for pushing forward on new and expanded solutions to address homelessness. To shift gears, as the American Rescue Plan dollars are fully allocated, Orange County has developed a comprehensive plan for other significant federal dollars. The plan is for the Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery to use $219 million in HUD funding for long-term recovery and mitigation efforts in response to Hurricane Ian. The plan allocates $190 million for unmet needs such as housing rehab, infrastructure repairs, and economic revitalization, and an additional almost $30 million for dedicated disaster mitigation projects. These funds are aimed at addressing damage and vulnerabilities in impacted areas, particularly affecting low and moderate income residents. The plan incorporated Orange community input, and last year we came to support the plan late last year. The final plan was submitted to HUD at the top of this year. It's crucial that we use this opportunity to address the ongoing crises of affordable housing and homelessness, which have been exacerbated by the storm. This Hurricane Ian disproportionately impacted low and moderate income families, and we hope that the county uses these dollars to prioritize affordable housing initiatives, including the development of hundreds of new affordable housing units, rehab of existing homes, supportive housing services for those experiencing homelessness.
All right, Ms. Badri, were you about to wrap up there?
I think really the point here is just that ARPA dollars are wrapping up. CDBG-DR becomes a really viable solution for a lot of the issues that we're facing with regard to affordable housing and homelessness. Just want to come here and support that, and thank you so much for your work.
All right, thank you, and we do appreciate Congressman Frost and the other members of our local congressional delegation who have supported us in various applications for federal funding. We hope that we continue to get our fair share of those federal dollars coming back into our community. So thank you for your presence. Do we have any other speakers?
Checking one more time is Susan Anderson. I believe that's the last speaker, Mayor.
All right, thank you all very much. With that, we will conclude the public comment period of our meeting this morning. However, I would like to make several acknowledgments. There were some comments made this morning about the county's goals to really move the needle with improving the situation involving the homeless within our community. Yes. And I will say to the viewing and listening public, essentially there's not one of our Board of County Commission meetings that we have where we do not address something related to homelessness, where we are continuing to improve our delivery of services, where we're continuing to engage with other nonprofits in our community to address homelessness, where we're continuing to allocate significant dollars to address the significant challenge that we have with homelessness within our community. In fact, you did hear from Mr. Tim McKinney, who referenced item 13 on the consent agenda, in which this is a program that is directly designed to benefit the homeless within our community, and working in partnership with Transformation Village with that particular item. The Mental Health and Homelessness Division is entering into a new agreement with local nonprofit agency SALT Outreach to offer mobile shower and laundry services, as well as case management and mental health access in East Orange County. In addition, the division will create 3 new positions for a successful breakthrough program, a partnership with RISE Community Solutions that will offer mentoring and peer support to our local youth who may be experiencing homelessness. In addition to that, I'm really excited to also...
Do you know if you want to get to the consent agenda first, or you want to...
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
I did jump ahead. So with that, I'm going to call on the county administrator to present the consent agenda item. And so after he presents the consent agenda item, I'll provide some additional comments. All right? That was awesome. All right. All right.
The good news is staff has no changes to the consent agenda, so we present it to the board for action as you deem appropriate.
So all right. All right. We have a motion by Commissioner Bonilla to approve the consent agenda, and the second came from
Commissioner Gomez.
Was it
Gomez.
Commissioner Gomez? Sorry, Commissioner Gomez Cordero. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The motion passes, and it is unanimous. And so, with that particular item. There was an item on the consent agenda in which we approved a partnership, a digital equity partnership with Eris Foundation. Eris is currently working with over 75 nonprofit organizations to access digital device needs and provide loaner devices through December of 2026. This initiative is vital for supporting several underserved populations, including at-risk youth, seniors, low-income individuals, and people who have various disabilities. For the ESOL learners, veterans, and those who are formerly incarcerated, and those accessing telehealth and health services as well. These deployments will be making a tangible impact throughout all districts within Orange County, reflecting our commitment to ensuring that no one is left behind with the digital age. The board also approved the launch of the Financial Empowerment Center. We approved the agreement with cities for financial empowerment to use their financial management model, and we also approved license agreements that allow our partner Habitat for Humanity to provide financial services at our community centers. All county residents and individuals employed in Orange County may take advantage of comprehensive one-on-one counseling and case management services. And the Citizens Commission for Children is adding funding to an existing contract with Capoeira for Tomorrow Incorporated to ensure countywide health and nutrition programs continue through the end of the year. The Shingle Creek Transit and Utility Community Development District in Orange County entered into an agreement by which the CDD will donate up to $18 million to capital towards a $42 million odor control project at the South Water Reclamation Facility. This is the largest facility of its kind in Central Florida, with capacity to treat domestic and commercial wastewater for more than 500,000 people. So that is a significant project. It will include the recycling of 100% of its effluent for irrigation and aquifer recharge. The CDD donation will be used to both accelerate the project and to pay for the costs associated with mitigating odors to the lowest possible levels with the highest reliability in the industry. The entire community surrounding the facility, including Tangelo Park, the iDrive Activity Center, and over 100,000 residents in South Orange County will benefit from these improvements scheduled to be completed in the spring of 2025. And so those are several key items that were on the consent agenda this morning. And with that, we will move to...
Mayor, if I may?
Yes, Commissioner?
Just wanted to just two quick brief comments. First, living in the Tangelo, Sand Lake area, you drive down and you smell that odor, and so I'm just grateful to the county and Universal for helping us move that project along. And secondly, I think more importantly, I would love to just kind of reiterate what you said about SALT, service, and love together. I've had the opportunity to be friends with Eric Camilo, and we've done a lot of work together, and I'm particularly happy that we'll be opening a youth drop-in center within District 6. And so Eric and the SALT team, thank you for all you do for youth and the homeless population, particularly the showers, the mobile washing center. Like, you're doing phenomenal work, and I just want to say thank you for all the work you've done in this community, you and your team, and just keep pushing. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. With that, we'll move to our discussion agenda, and the first item on the A1 will be presented by Ms. Carrie Mathis, our manager of the procurement division. She'll be coming forward, and with that, Ms. Mathis, you're recognized at this time.
Thank you. Good morning, Mayor and Commissioners.
Good morning.
The first item is with regards to the procurement committee that evaluated proposals for a multi-family affordable housing development. Regarding Lot A, I'm requesting board selection of 2 firms, and regarding Lot B, I'm requesting board selection of 3 firms and 2 ranked alternates. Commissioner Wilson was assigned to the procurement committee.
All right, thank you, Ms. Mathis. With that, Commissioner Wilson, would you like to offer a potential motion?
Only if you promise to also brag about this after we're done with it.
All right.
Sorry, I think, it's a pretty special movement in the right direction. So with that, for Lot A, I move for the selection of Osprey Sound Apartments, LP Ulysses Development Group for 454.25 points, and Century Crossing Southport Development Incorporated, SP North LLC, at 419.25 points.
Second, Moore.
All right, so we have...
Hang on, wait, I've got two.
Got...
Do I need to put both lots in the same motion? It's 2 lots.
So Carrie, how?
I think they're both in the same motion. So just bear with me and I'll get through the second part.
So it's one procurement, but it's 2 separate lots, rankings for each lot.
So they can go into one motion.
Okay, so bear with me. Deep breath. For Lot B, I move for the selection of BDG Mariposa Grove LLC Banyan Development Group LLC at 475.75 points. The Enclave at Canopy Partners LLC, Archway Partners LLC at 446 points. ECG South Ivy LP, Elmington Affordable at LC at 415.75 points. With New Life Seniors, John Stanley Incorporated, and New Life Ministries of Orlando Incorporated at 368 points, and Vista at Point Siena LTD Atlantic Pacific Communities LLC at 310 points as the ranked alternates.
Second, Moore.
All right, so we do have
got
a motion and a second. The seconder is Commissioner Moore. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The motion passes, and it is unanimous. Again, once again, when we do talk about affordable housing and homelessness, another item on this agenda, as I said earlier, there's essentially not a board meeting that we have where we don't address that. Even in the upcoming budget cycle, substantial increases in our budget will be in the next fiscal year budget cycle to allow us to further address the homelessness and the affordable housing challenges that we have. So thank you very much, Commissioner Wilson, on the motion.
Mayor, just one additional component to the motion, this section right there, further request approval.
Carrie, you need approval of the agreements, correct?
Okay, so in addition to the motion, further request approval for the procurement division to execute 5 developer agreements and negotiate the terms of the loans within a cumulative budget of $20,850,000. Do I need to keep going with the Further request board authorization for the procurement division to formally terminate negotiations with top-ranked firms if we are unable to come to a favorable negotiated developer agreement and commence negotiations with the next ranked alternate.
All right, so we have a motion. Is there a second on that item? Second, Commissioner Moore. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. A motion passes, and it is unanimous. And so with that item, we just approved 5 firms to construct a combined total of 573 new affordable rent-restricted apartment units. 200 units will be for our low-income elderly residents, and 373 units will be for families. This is our 3rd award under our local housing trust fund, which will be which we created in March of 2020, and this is the largest number of projects that have been awarded funding under a single request for proposals. In addition, the developers have committed to a larger percentage of units set aside for very low-income households in their proposals, representing 226 units, or 39%. This is a great outcome for all of us, and I want to thank our housing team for their perseverance and creativity. I think Mitchell Lasser, I saw him there.
Yep.
He came in earlier. So over $20.8 million. And so this is going to directly benefit the individuals who Ms. Kuros alluded to earlier during public comment. So again, thank you to our team there within our housing division. All right, and Ms. Mathis, we'll move to the next item then now on our agenda, item A2, and you're recognized.
Thank you. The Procurement Committee has evaluated proposals for a group dental insurance plan. I'm requesting board selection of 1 firm and 3 ranked alternates. Commissioner Wilson was assigned to the Procurement Committee.
I'm going to try to do a better job enunciating.
All right, Commissioner Wilson, would you like to offer potential motion?
Yes, thank you. I move for the selection of Cigna Health and Life Insurance Company at 486.67 points, with Human Insurance Company 446.67 points, Metropolitan Life Insurance Company at 435 points, and Standard Insurance Company 370 points as the ranked alternates.
Second, Uribe.
All right, we do have a second. Any questions or concerns? If not, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The motion passes, and it is unanimous. And let the record reflect that Commissioner Scott was absent on that vote. Okay, we'll move to the next item. This is item A3. Again, Ms. Mathis, you're recognized.
Thank you. The Procurement Committee has evaluated proposals for continuing engineering services for solid waste management construction projects. I'm requesting board selection of 2 firms and 3 ranked alternates. Commissioner Bonilla was assigned to the Procurement Committee.
All right, thank you very much. Commissioner Bonilla, would you like to offer a potential motion?
Yes, nothing is more exciting than solid waste, especially when your trash has been picked up. I will say there is a section in here, though, it seems like someone copy and pasted their password in here. So bear with me when I get to that part. All right, I move for the selection of Stearns, Conrad, and Schmidt Consulting Engineers, Inc., DBA, SCS Engineers at 452 points, and here it is, capital S2. Okay. All right, capital L, lowercase I, the and sign, and capital A, capital V, capital C, capital O, capital N, joint venture with 450.50 points, with HDR Engineering, Inc., 421 points, Geosyntec Consultants, Inc., at 406.50 points, and Cornerstone Environmental Group, LLC, A Tetra Tech, Inc., with 392.50 points as the ranked alternates.
Second, Gomez.
All right, we have a second by Commissioner Gomez-Cordero. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. A motion passes, and it is unanimous. All right, thank you, Ms. Mathis. We'll move to the next item on our agenda. Mr. Brian Sanders, the manager of our Transportation Planning Division, is going to come forward, and he'll be framing this item regarding the MetroPlan Orlando Board meeting, which we are all members of. That will be upcoming. And with that, Mr. Sanders, you're recognized.
Good morning, Mayor, Commissioners, Comptroller Diamond. I'm pleased to present the briefing for tomorrow's MetroPlan meeting. The meeting will include the approval of the consent agenda, which includes the board meeting minutes from July 10th, also the approval of the financial report for June and July of 2024, ratification of the fiscal year 24 budget amendment number 7, fiscal year 25 budget amendment number 1, the Personnel Committee recommendation for the Executive Director's annual review will also be on that agenda. MetroPlan Board Meeting Committee appointment for the FDOT Safety Steering Committee will also be a topic. Contribution to the Bike Walk Central Florida for Best Foot Forward program. Board resolution in support of Blind Americans Equality Day, and also to extend the sole source contract with the University of Central Florida to update MetroPlan Orlando's web-based crash database. And now I'll get into a little more details of each one of those. For the financial report, there were no net differences to be reconciled for June and July. In terms of travel report, Mr. Hutman and Mr. Constantine traveled to Atlanta, Georgia to attend the National Association of Regional Councils, that's NARC, annual meeting. And also Mr. Wilson traveled to Portland, Maine to attend the National Committee of Uniform Traffic Control Devices. Was the Bicycle Committee meeting. The ratification of the 2024 budget amendment number 7. This was approved by the board chair, and it reallocates existing budget so that the Unified Planning Work Program tasks in the grants were not overspent. And so this was a fiscal operation required by DOT, as well as budget amendment number 1 for 2025, which rolls forward the grant funding from the prior year, reconciles the planning and surface funding with actual fund amounts and for local fund reconciliation. The overall impact of that action is favorable to the MetroPlan budget by just over $1 million. So the Personnel Committee recommendations for the Executive Director's annual review, like it says, is annual. Again, unanimous committee opinion for Mr. Hutman and his staff, doing a great job. Salary increase of 5%, increase in 457 plan, and the incentive plan. The next item we may take a little more time on, the MetroPlan Orlando Board Committee appointment to the FDOT Safety Steering Committee. This is a committee that includes elected officials and has the potential of staff working groups as well. The board chair for MetroPlan concurred with staff to represent the Tri-County area. Mr. Hutman will be opening that issue up a little bit more in his executive director's report.
Okay.
Moving on.
Yes.
Contribution to the Bike Walk Central Florida, Best Foot Forward, $100,000. That's the same amount as last year. That goes to Bike Walk Central Florida, and it funds the pedestrian and bicycle safety programs over the next fiscal year. There will also be a board resolution in support of the Blind American Equality Day and its observation of this day, with appropriate ceremonies, activities, programs, and other celebrations to recognize the accomplishments and contributions of visually impaired Americans. And finally, on the consent agenda, the sole source contract with the University of Central Florida to update MetroPlan's web-based crash database. Critical function that geolocates all of the ped, bike, and automobile crashes throughout the state, and we're focused on Orange County. This funding provides the access to the crash database and also creates custom queries and quarterly and annual updates. That's $30,000 in the budget. Other action items include the approval of the resolution and amendments for the 2025 to 2030 Transportation Improvement Program. This is a roll call vote. Includes 3 new links projects that receive federal earmarks and 1 project in Castleberry that experienced increases in scope and increases in costs for materials. And those projects and details are listed below. Also, approval of the roll forward resolution and amendments to the fiscal year 24 to 25 through 29 to 30 Transportation Improvement Program. That's another roll call vote. This is rolling forward those funds into the TIP to be consistent with the 5-year plan. It's a routine procedure. Also, everyone's familiar with Vision Zero Safety Action Plan and Resolution. MetroPlan Orlando received a discretionary grant for that. We all benefited. We recently approved our Vision Zero Action Plan in August. And so this adoption of this plan satisfies the federal requirements, allowing us to be eligible for future engineering, preliminary engineering, and construction funds. That's a good thing. All right, in other business, I'm going to flip-flop this. You'll hear the 2024 Public Opinion Survey results. Over 3,100 participants in that. 59% of those were from Orange County residents. Generally supported additional transit funding. It's important to note 3 years ago when this survey was done, about 18% of transit users experienced missed medical appointments for reasons. Those statistics have climbed, unfortunately, and those are up 25% in Orange County and 40% in Osceola. These are our people that are dependent on transit, very important function that the county funds every year, and we need to support that as well. Oh, I'm sorry. And then the last thing, the apportionment plan is in place now as of the August 8th letter from the governor's office. Welcome, Commissioner Scott. You're the 7th position on that board. Very important. As federal funding gets approved, we want to be sure that we're represented well. Unfortunately, we have no alternate now. And so we have sought an opinion from our legal. Whitney has provided some information on that. Whitney, if you wanted to say it in your own words, that would be fine.
Absolutely. Good morning. So, Mayor, after your briefing yesterday, I did take a look at the statute on this, and unfortunately, the statute requires that all voting members be elected officials of the general purpose local government, and it does state that that general purpose local government excludes constitutional officers, as you had indicated yesterday. So at this point, we don't have anyone since our entire board is already appointed to MetroPlan. We are without the capacity for an alternate absent another reapportionment on this board.
Okay, thank you. And just for, I think, the edification of the board, this is a question that I asked because due to reapportionment, population growth within the county and within our respective municipalities, and really the population growth across the region, it has necessitated a reapportionment of the number of votes each particular jurisdiction has. And as a result of that reapportionment calculation, Commissioner Scott, who had been serving as an alternate because of reapportionment, Orange County population grew, and it necessitated us actually then, rather than having 6 members on the MetroPlan from our board and 1 alternate, because of population growth, we now have 7 full members of the MetroPlan board that can vote. So the question I raised is, okay, do we still get to appoint perhaps an alternate? And what legal has done is research that and said that because we could not appoint a constitutional officer from Orange, an elected official, in other words, from our county to serve as an alternate, could we perhaps use a non-elected official, such as the county administrator or some other designee, as our alternate? And so legal has researched it and come to the conclusion that based on the statute that was written, the individual has to be an elected official, and so therefore we have our 7. And so when this becomes really germane to our voting strength, if you will, within MetroPlan, we have the 7 votes, and that's more than anybody else, any other jurisdiction has within the area. But I just wanted to double check to make sure that we could not appoint an alternate, and that's the answer that we are receiving at this point. Okay. All right, any questions regarding that? I think otherwise Mr. Sanders has reviewed the MetroPlan board agenda for tomorrow. If there's nothing else, the question, Commissioner Wilson.
So, and I just want to make sure if I understand sort of the consequences as somebody who does I love those meetings and think they're so important because we're fighting for every dollar from the state and from the federal government. But I know Commissioner Bonilla has only been, twice, in the last few years. Is there a possibility for us to be able to loop in an elected from one of the municipalities that didn't make the cut? So, for instance, Winter Garden was right at that 50,000 population line, but didn't make the cut to come in during apportionment. And so I didn't know if there was a possibility for an elected from an Orange County included municipal as an alternate.
So, Commissioner, the way the statute is written, it obviously is a little bit unfortunate since we are in this situation. It seems like they would have thought about that when they wrote this, but the way it's written is that county commissioners shall compose not less than 20% of the membership if there's an official of an agency that operates or administers a major mode of transportation, which obviously you have with CFX and the airports in there. So I think the problem you run into there is that you've got to meet that 20%. Now, we can go back and take a look at exactly the breakdown and get back to you on that. If I think there's a way we can massage that a little bit, I'll certainly look at that. But
and the other challenge with that, Commissioner Wilson, is sometimes we find ourselves at odds even with the municipalities, and we are in that situation now. We have several amendments that are on the ballot that's moving forward. So I think that again, those elected at the municipal level are elected to represent their municipalities, and those elected at the county level are elected to really represent both the county and the municipalities. And so sometimes because of that, we may have an inequity there, and the only discourse that I wanted to have was our ability to maybe look at the alternate. But we have the answer now, unless the statute changes, and it is proportionate, again, kind of based upon the size of our county and the growth within it. Okay. All right, Mr. Sanders, thank you very much. Question? Sorry. Commissioner Bonilla.
Yeah, well, I know as county commissioners, we don't have alternates, but in MetroPlan we do. And I have a question to see if we can have maybe, it has to be elected official, right?
correct.
Of a, what was that second part?
So it's, excuse me, it says voting members shall be elected officials of general purpose local governments, so municipality or county. And then it says elected officials of a general purpose local government excludes constitutional officers.
Okay, so can we have someone from a municipality then represent us as
Well,
a...
that's the question she just asked.
Yeah, but I don't understand why
But
not,
keep in mind,
though.
the municipalities have representation on.
But there are
MetroPlan.
some that don't, right?
Yes, there are some, but she talked about that 20% threshold, and that's why they may not.
But they'll be representing us as an alternate, so...
So, Mayor, what I shared with Commissioner Bonilla was that even if the entity from whatever municipality, let's say Winter Garden as an example, does not have a vote, they could at least go for presence purposes. So maybe they may not be able to officially vote on our behalf as an alternate, but they can attend in our stead for the purposes of information. And,
Or a quorum?
Yeah, or even, not even for quorum, because if they can't vote, they can't get quorum.
They could attend now, and many do, but this really is
I think the concern is
reference to
quorum.
voting. This is
Yeah.
reference
Quorum
to
is-
voting.
Yeah, quorum is the thing we're trying to make sure we can make.
It would be
So.
an extraordinary circumstance, first off, for all 7 of us not to be there.
FAC, NACO.
But it would be something catastrophic, and if all 7 of us could not be present, we would likely ask MetroPlan not to move forward with whatever the action is. We would say, no, we can't. That would be something catastrophic that would impact all of the jurisdictions, I think. And so they'd have to cancel that meeting and wait until they were able to get a quorum for the meeting itself in order to take action during the business portion of the meeting that requires a vote. So it's kind of...
So another question, so if, let's say something in our county happened but didn't affect them, would they still be able to make a quorum if, let's say, the majority of Orange County didn't make it? Because they have enough members, right?
As of right now, I believe their membership is at 22. Is
Okay.
that correct, Brian? So if Orange County now has 7 members, so they'd still have a quorum without the Orange County delegation.
Okay. All right,
But
so
I'm just-
it's really not a huge problem then.
I'm just saying that if none of us can make it, that's something that none of us want to experience, I think, in our lifetime, because that'd be something major. They would have to cancel that meeting, I think. So I think we're fine.
Yeah, it sounds
Good.
like it. All
Yeah.
right, thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Brian. All right, we'll move to the next discussion item, and that's C1. Alan Marshall is going to come forward, and he'll be framing this item regarding the Live Local Act that certainly you all are familiar with. And with that, Mr. Marshall, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor, and good morning, Commissioners. This morning, we are here to give you an update on this year's Live Local Act changes that were included in Senate Bill 328. This will update our approved permitting SOPs, guidelines, and also talk about the affordability process, the land use restriction agreement required for that. So my presentation will restate the purpose. I'll talk a little bit about background on the issues, walk you through the 2024 legislative changes, talk about the required updates for this year, introduce the affordability agreement. This is one of the things that we talked about last year about this time when you adopted the previous standards. Sum up, and then have an action requested. So purpose is to update by a resolution processes and specific performance standards that implement the new Live Local Act requirements related to affordable housing and associated mixed-use development, and to approve that template agreement for managing affordability on Live Local projects. So just to take you back a year, spring of last year, Senate Bill 102 was the original Live Local Act. The bill focused on streamlining and incentivizing affordable housing-related programs, standards, and policies. It made various changes and additions at both the state and local level. Governor signed it, and it became approved in the statutes July 1st, became effective. So that did a number of things. It preempted rent control. We'd had that discussion for a long time here locally. Added a fair amount of funding to affordable housing programs. You see $811 million for affordable housing programs. Added $100 million to the Florida Hometown Heroes program. It also created a few tax exemption opportunities. It created one at the state called the Missing Middle program, and that was focused towards affordable housing that had rents between 80 and 120% area median income. And it also provided for a local option for very low income developments, and that is up to 60% area median income. There were provisions relating to local government property where we are required to post viable options for surplus property on our website. We've always been doing that, but now it's posted on the website. And then the big issue was relating to permitting standards. And so the bill preempted requirements regarding zoning, density, and height to allow for streamlined developing of affordable housing in areas zoned for commercial, industrial, and mixed use under certain circumstances. So those developments that met all of those requirements, all the other county requirements, were not required to have a zoning change or comp plan amendment and must be administratively approved. So that removed any county commission meeting for anyone that qualified under Live Local. So October 8th was the day we hashed out those new performance standards for projects. Here you see projects proposed within commercial or industrial zone areas. They were required to have R2 multifamily residential standards if they were within 100 feet of a single family zoning district, a PD district, or any single family home. So just trying to have some concern for abutting residential. And now that R2 multifamily residential standard has kind of a form factor associated with it. It limits buildings to no more than 4 units. And since you're probably not going to stack 4 units on top of each other, probably going to be just 2 duplexes put together. So two-story would have been the height maximum. Otherwise, if you are greater than 150 feet or 100 feet away, you could have more standard R3 multifamily residential standards. Parcels within PD, you see broken out on the side there in yellow, were excluded from consideration for Live Local because those are negotiated districts, and the board agreed with that and approved that deletion in the standards. Project proposed for neighborhood center or neighborhood activity center just use the standards that were currently in code for those areas. They're very small areas in Orange County. And the height standard used for reference in the Live Local, it talked about a mile. It used the highest building within a mile. So our decision there was that it was the highest code allowed. It wasn't something that might have been higher during a variance. So the highest code allowed height within a mile as the crow flies. iDrive standards obviously are a little bit different. They're based on existing structures. And sort of the most important thing there at the bottom, no variances. And so essentially you got your use, you got your density, you got your height, but you had to meet all the other local county standards. And so if you were seeking a variance to one of those standards, you're not Live Local. You're going to go through our regular process. So what happened last year? What did we see project-wise under that new statute? So we had one project that was actually submitted, came in as a submittal. Their property's right on Lake Barton. That's kind of on the top picture there. You see 50 and 436 as the 2 main roadways there. So the request is 198 multifamily residential units. Project came in, went through its first round of review. They got some comments, and they have not yet come back to staff. They're obviously working on issues on their side. The issues aren't necessarily onerous in talking with our staff, so that project is just on hold per the applicant. We had one pre-application meeting, so one group came in to talk to us about a project there. It's actually just north of this on 436, or just off 436, and that's for 628 residential multifamily units. Had that discussion, have not seen that application come in. It's still essentially on them to do a submittal. So the 2024 legislative changes. The bill this year, Senate Bill 328, Affordable Housing, again, amended provisions of the Live Local Act related to affordable housing programs at both the state and local level. Some of the pieces in there, I'll just point out a couple things. One, it gave the Florida Housing Finance Corporation, that's that state entity that vets those proposals for the tax, that state missing middle tax exemption. gave them some ability to deal with developers who might have issues, compliance issues, that may be debarred from federal programs. The middle bullet there gave some additional clarity to issues with the local property appraiser in how they deal with individual units and constructed developments. But the last bullet there is where we are here today, which is various provisions making various changes to the preemption of local zoning and land use regulations. Now, along with that, there was another bill that relates to that missing middle tax exemption, and it was House Bill 7073 for taxation. And what it did is it created an opt-out provision. And some of the specifics of that was that a local government or a taxing authority had to have an ordinance or a resolution approved by 2/3 of the governing body, and including a finding that the most recently published Schimberg Housing Annual Studies Report, which comes out in every December, shows a surplus of available and affordable units within that MSA. The opt-out would have to take effect before January 1st, or the decision would be before January 1st. That gets delivered to the property appraiser before that effective date, and any grandfathered projects from the year prior have their status. Looking at this year, the current usage of that, so how many entities, how many developments around the state took advantage of this? So in Orange County, 14 total properties made it all the way through the system. Okay, there were 15 that made it out of the Florida Housing Finance Corporation that were certified, that went to the property appraiser, but it looks like only 14 of them actually got the tax exemption. 12 of those were new construction. You see there 1,854 units. They were all at that highest level of 120 AMI, area median income. 2 were renovations, 369 units. Those were at the 80% AMI. Within those 14, 3 were in unincorporated. You see they were all new construction, 608 total units. One of those was the majority of that as a student housing project. The numbers at the bottom are a little better than back of the napkin. They're pretty close. They're assessments of the tax ramifications to the county and the municipalities. You see 2.3 million to the county and 2.8 million for those 14 projects. Over on the side, you see about 100 projects statewide overall, maybe 15,000 units, kind of split between the 80 and 120. So whether that's, whether you consider that a successful first year, it's, debatable. Now looking at that, we talked about that Schimberg report that comes out in December. It showed for our MSA, the Orlando to Kissimmee MSA, which is Lake Orange, Osceola, and Seminole, that we had a 799 unit surplus. What's below it there is sort of snipped out of the report. That's how they show those deficits there of within the 0 to 30% AMI. You had a deficit of 51,154, and as you move forward, you see minus 70, minus 89, minus 94, and then you start to see that number come down. And then when you take the entire grouping 0 to 120 in place, you end up with 799 surplus. So that gave jurisdictions within our MSA the ability to opt out of that tax provision, tax exemption provision. And all of our other counties in the MSA have done so. Several of the cities have. I think this was on Maitland's agenda, and I'm sorry, I don't know whether that passed or not yesterday. I think it was on the agenda yesterday. I pulled 2 examples out of those 14 projects just to show you 1 or 2 examples. The first one is in unincorporated. The other one is within a city. So Pros Avalon Point, there are 300 total units. 124 of those were applicable at that 120 AMI. You see the tax abatement that they received there. So if you just go over to the right side there, you'll see this is a snip from their market study. This was required of them when they applied to FHFC. So you see the rental market study rates that they provided there for 1 bedroom, 1950, 2 bedrooms, 2375, and then what percent, that 90% rental market study, which they were required to meet. M2 at Millennia, 403 units, 343 at 120 AMI. You see there are the tax abatement to the county and to the city. This one includes a 3-bedroom there. You see at $3,025. Now, all of these numbers are still below the SHIP thresholds. I think the 325 is only within a couple dollars of it, but they are still technically under the SHIP thresholds for this MSA. So the considerations for if the county were to consider opting out, pros to that would be it mitigates loss of tax dollars that exceed our general standards of affordability. In our project programs, we go up to 60% AMI. Might be a little bit different for home-based programs, but not for rental. And it does allow the local government to customize an exemption program that more aligns with our targeted needs. Cons to opting out, obviously there's the optics. May appear as though the county is obstructing affordable housing. May lose the potential if someone did want to come in with a project that isn't at that top end. It might be more truly affordable and potentially a loss of overall supply. So in the process of that opt-out, it would have to get, technically it has to get to the property appraiser by the 1st of next year. So for us, that would be centering around that November 19th board date. So then considering we talked about that local option. So the state last year had the missing middle of the state program and then the opportunity for a local affordable housing exemption in the county. So when you take a different look at that Schimberg report data, this kind of shows that curve. So you're trying to figure out where that need is in Orange County. And so you see that 51, 0 to 30%. Now all of these aren't equal increments. You have to understand some of them are 0 to 30, some of them are 10 between each, and then greater. But you see the arc there of that deficit going down, minus 51,000, another 19,000, another 19,000, starts to level off at 50, 60, and then you start to see where the inventory is coming into the market, and that's at that greater than 60% and certainly greater than 80% AMI. So the market is supplying adequate units above that 80% AMI, and the significant deficits occur up to 60. Now this is just a single slide here to just sort of cut out of the statute for what does that local affordable housing option look like. So the local government would adopt an ordinance and exempt those portions of the property used to provide affordable housing. So that's properties with 50 or more units that set aside at least 20% of its units as affordable, households that make 60% or below AMI. If all of the units qualify, then they get 100% tax exemption. If less than 100, it would be 75. So with board direction, staff could bring back a work session on this item as early as October 29, and if it was the board's pleasure, bring an ordinance in that same time in November or December. So now we're going to jump back into the more traditional Live Local Act, the zoning guidelines update. This is the thing that is required here today. And when you look at the changes that were proposed in Senate Bill 328, I think a lot of them were designed to fix problems that maybe were other places in the state because they didn't seem very focused on our code and the nomenclature of our code. So essentially there were three things. There were a couple things in there that I considered as clarifications. They really aren't changing anything. It's the way we understood it. We agree with the way the language that got put in there. There's a few that are minor updates that have little or no frequency. It's a change, but it may never occur. And then major updates that change our process, but might have a more common occurrence. So the two clarifications here in the bill, it said, states that a local government's currently allowed density, height, and floor area ratio does not include any bonuses, variance, or other special exception in their regulations. And so for us, there's no action needed. We agreed with that. That was the understanding that we had. That new language didn't change anything. Second one identifies that affordable units in a qualifying development must be rental units. That was our understanding in the first place, so no change needed to our adopted SOPs. Moving into the minor changes, first one is it preempts a local government's floor area ratio. The original one had the zoning and the density and the height. This adds floor area ratio. It's We'll add it into the new SOPs. It probably doesn't make much difference. Our FARs deal with commercial development and code, maybe relevant in mixed-use districts there, but probably not something that's going to cause us any trouble. The next minor one modifies the height exemption provision to address situations where a qualifying development is adjacent to single family. So the paragraph below it is, a real twister, but essentially says that if you're adjacent to and you touch on a couple of areas, a single family residential development that has at least 25 homes in it, that a local government may restrict the proposed development to 150% of the tallest building on property within a quarter mile. So the previous standard was 1 mile. So this is bringing it in closer. That's a good thing, making it a little bit more relevant, but probably is not going to change anything about how we do things, because if you are touching single-family residential, you're held to that R2 standard, which is essentially a 2-story type of a development. And so this would prove maybe as a backstop, but it's not really changing much about how we would do things. So just reinsert it into the SOP. Now, moving to the major changes here, there's just a few. The first 3 are about parking, and they're going to increase in not severity, but in application here. So starting off with the first, consider reductions in parking if the development is located within 1/4 mile of a transit stop, and for us that could be a bus stop in our land development code, and is accessible from the development. And again, this is not changing for our entire code. This is just live local projects, okay? So probably not an issue there. We insert the new provision into the SOP, not too difficult. The second is at least a 20% reduction in parking if the development is located within 1/2 mile of a major transportation hub, and that for us would be probably like a Lynx Superstop or our Sunrail stations. It's probably within the definition, those would be the ones that might qualify. But the caveat there is that you're within 1/2 mile of that major transportation hub, but it also says that you have to be